So let's talk about conscious living and conscious dying. First of all, as always, it's terrific to be here with Ming Tong and with my wife, Sedina. We want to explore this subject because it's so fundamental and essential. It's always that way, but it's especially that way at this time in our history when 50% of our population is moving into the second half of life for the first time in history. And that's happening not just here in the US, but throughout the industrialized world. So this question of conscious living and conscious dying is so fundamentally important, and for that reason, we thought we might begin by just exploring this word conscious. What does it mean? How does it impact the quality of our lives? So some connotations. Doing or acting with critical awareness. Perceiving, apprehending, or noticing. Awareness of an inner state or an outward fact. These are all some of the ways the dictionary defines conscious, being conscious. And now let's explore between the three of us what we think of it. Sedina, how do you define conscious?
Conscious. Well, for me, when I hear that word, it's being aware. Being aware, being awake, really awake to the energy all around me. As Ming Tong says, I'm the form within the formless. And that formless, that energy that's all around me, is me. And you know, I'm so glad that scientists are finally talking about that so that we can all know it's okay to delve into that huge arena of energy that we are literally a part of. This quantum field. So I think of us as conduits of energy, and like a pipe that has rust build up. When we contract our energy, our awareness, our consciousness, I think it's just like the rust builds up on the pipes. You know, it constricts and the water can't flow through. And it's the same thing with us. If we restrict, we resist, or we're judgmental, it's contraction. It's like contraction. And then when there's openness, acceptance, forgiveness, we rest, we're relaxing, we're happy. And for me, the biggest thing about consciousness is being open. So we're open, you know? So it's kind of like this pipe. We just keep the flow, keep the channel going, and staying awake and aware.
What about you, Ming Tong?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the biggest topic. You know, the most important topic, definitely. And so often I say, you know, as a human being, the most precious gift on one hand is this body, and within this body, you know, the body carries different layer of energy. So when we perceive, you know, consciousness as a most subtle energy field. And another way to put it is the very essence of who we are. And that's being spoken in many different traditions, not just Qigong, Buddha tradition. In any meditation tradition is focused on cultivating awareness. Yeah, any, you know, more contemplative, you know, tradition is about, you know, connecting with that awareness, connecting with this consciousness. This consciousness is capable of being aware of our life, aware of our health, aware of our energetic presence. On the other hand, that consciousness is continuing existing in the universe beyond this physical body. That's the subject we're going to explore further today.
Right.
And in fact, if you think about it, since we're talking about conscious living and conscious dying, when we are not awake, when we're not attuned, then we tend to be going through our life on automatic. We're missing a great deal. We're not in touch with all of the things that are in the field around us. Ram Dass has a way of talking about that. He says, As we grow in consciousness, there will be more compassion and more love. And then the barriers between people, between religions, between nations will begin to fall. Yes, we have to beat down the separateness, he says. And that's where consciousness, so for him, he equates it with oneness, you know.
I love Ram Dass. I haven't heard of the beat down part before, but that's so interesting. I know what he's saying. I think separateness is the whole issue that we're going through right now in our world. And as you were saying, Ming Tong, you know, it's a expansive, consciousness is this expansive, limitless resource of energy that's really at our fingertips. And if we, you know, I'm over here and you're over there, that's been the issue. That's the separateness.
So it's like when you tap into the new paradigm, which is not new, it's really the ancient wisdom, is awakening to this new perception. You know, perception relatingly for us is new because we're conditioned to this familiar paradigm of separateness, limitation, physical, attached to the physical condition only. Yeah, so awakening to that energetic oneness is directly not only so important as Lama Das is addressing, like every spiritual teacher addressing about that. It's about awakening to that realization of oneness, interconnectedness. And slow Qigong, we experience it.
It's like scientists talk now about how they literally say that we are part of this quantum unlimited field of energy. So we are limitless, just like this field of energy that we're part of. And I love what you just said because it's so true. It's hard for us to get that we are really a part of all that. But we are. You know, the separateness is that tricky piece.
This is interesting because I have this quote here by Eckhart Tolle, and he says, "Acceptance looks like a passive state, but in reality, it brings something entirely new into the world. That piece, a subtle energy, vibration, is consciousness." So, and that's what we've been talking about. We've been talking about when you begin to recognize that even though you're in a physical body, that there's this connectivity with this field, this vibration, this frequency around us, and that's what you define as the chi field. Really,
right? I think that's also part of the conscious living, aging. You know, in different age, your perception of life is different.
Of course.
And your unique quality is different. What are you going to offer to the world is different. So you become conscious of that and make the choice from that place. Doesn't have to be attaching to all identity when you were young, when you're active in the world. You don't have to attach to someone else's idea what is, you know, aging look like. So you're able to really open to your own discovery, who you are.
Some of the work that we do with conscious aging, right? We have some recommendations that we make to people that also help them get from that place of separation to a place of greater oneness, you know? So what are some of the things you know that we work with?
Well, let me think. There's so many things. In our book, Do Not Go Quietly, we mention dealing with incompletes. So it's all energy. Everything is energy, as we've been talking about. So if you have things that are incomplete in your life, it's like an energy drain. It's a suck that kind of, you know, you're dragging it around like a ball and chain kind of thing. Everybody knows how great it feels to just clear your desk, you know, and how, it just is so relieving to do that. So it clears the way, it lightens our energy, it lightens our load. Also forgiveness. Forgiveness is huge. That's another thing we carry around. What is it within me that I haven't forgiven? What energy is in there that I still need to deal with? I still need to just forgive and let go.
My mission in life has always been about raising the level of consciousness my own first, because without that I can't recognize it in anyone else. And then contributing, because I believe there have been so many poets and mystics and scientists who tell us that as we raise the vibration, the frequency of the planet, we usher in periods of greater joy and creativity and engagement. We get closer to that oneness. Now, I can't speak for you, but I know that whenever I'm in touch with gratitude in my life, my heart opens. And when my heart opens, what happens for me is the same thing that Ming Tong's been talking about and Sedina's been talking about. What happens for me when my heart is open is I become connected to that field of energy that is both within me and around me.
Yeah.
So, and thank you for this invitation of feeling the gratitude. Even just for a few moments of meditating, I was feeling not only gratitude for the best thing, we have in our life, but I'm also feeling the gratitude for the things appears challenging.
Yes.
For whatever reason in our life, suddenly we have a new perspective, new relationship with it. Without that challenge, often there's no life. So the conclusion is really the same topic we're addressing today.
Right.
Your consciousness
is immortal.
Timeless.
It's timeless.
Timeless.
It's immortal, right?
The essence is timeless.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So one way, my favorite way of doing so is like even using the scientific language. We know the whole universe is made of energy. Within that universe, you're part of this energy existence. And according to science, we know in this existence of energy of the universe, you cannot reduce energy from it. You cannot add any new energy into it.
That's right. I've heard that.
So imagine the implication of that. So what's going to happen when the body dies?
Yeah.
This energy has to continue.
Thank you. That's right.
What a wonderful...
Isn't it great that science is telling us that?
Where you can go. You cannot be taken out to the universe.
Yeah.
It's going to be here in this totality, maybe in different form.
You're always going to be here.
Yeah.
You two just started a perfect transition to the second part of our conversation, right? Because remember, our topic today is conscious living and conscious dying.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Whether we live happily, we can die happily and peacefully. Whether we live, in fear or die in fear.
Yes.
And in one way or another, we're going to die anyway. So the question is, conscious dying is what's the choice?
Right.
Consciousness is another quality, is about choice. Not just awareness. You're aware of the existence, aware of the presence, aware of the wholeness of life. But within the wholeness, you still have a choice. Yeah, aware of your choices. Among all the choices, what can we choose? In this process, both living fully, and dying also peacefully.
Part Native American, and I started reading everything that the Native American people talk about. As you get older, it's an honor to be older. It's a whole different perspective, really, that, we can leave a legacy, we can share our wisdom. It's just a beautiful time of life.
And that's where the consciousness comes in, because the more conscious we are, then the more we harvest that wisdom. But the more unconscious we are, we just keep stumbling from the same mistake to the next mistake, But when we're willing to harvest it and squeeze the juice from it, then as we age, as we mature, we really have this body of wisdom that becomes part of the legacy. But that's something that we earn, I mean, it takes courage to live life, to harvest the wisdom, and then to turn and leave that to those who come after us. It's our gift to them in many ways.
Right.
I have today's my day for quotes, There's this guy, Hunter Thompson, and this is what he says. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, "Wow, what a ride!"
Wow.
Wow, that's
I mean,
great.
what an image
Yeah.
of a life
Yeah.
really well lived.
If we live to that point, we all can feel that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So we could go on talking about, the three of us could go on talking forever, I think, but on conscious aging, conscious dying, and conscious, you know. But we're getting to the close of our program with you today. And we promised earlier that we would tell you a little bit about this conference. So we want to tell you a little bit about it, you know. So first of all, it's the first annual. Secondly, we have an outstanding group of people. Joan Borensenko, a world-class, best-selling author, mind, body, spirit expert. Andrew Harvey, a mystic and a troublemaker, a wonderful, just a loving being. And in fact, his organization is called Sacred Activism. And he was here in Santa Fe giving a talk when he had the vision that led him to create Sacred Activism.
Isn't that great?
Father Richard Rohr, another troublemaker. He's a Catholic mystic who just speaks the truth, you know. A lot of truth tellers are going to be here. Judith Orloff, who's an empath and who helps and teaches people to get much more deeply in touch with their own wisdom and with their ability to connect to this field of energy that's around us. Gregory Shushan, who you've had a brief experience with, he'll be here. Nathan Crane, who you haven't met, young, brilliant, is going to talk a lot about the sustainability of life. Ming Tong, of course, is going to be weaving this mystical, magical 5,000-year-old technology and science called Qigong, and he's going to be weaving it all the way through so that we all have a chance to practice real time and to be connected as we're working with all of these people. And then Sedina and I will be here talking about a lot of the things that we talk about in conscious aging, tools and techniques and strategies that can help you lead a better life. We want to thank you for spending time with us in Ming Tong's tradition. He has a word that is haola, right? Which is all is well and things are getting better. So we say haola to you. Haola. Haola. Until next time.